And welcome back to Hannity, and here's more of my exclusive interview with President Trump. Now, I asked him about the North Korean threat, the Iranian nuclear deal, and so much more. Take a look. There was a lot of coverage of your phrase. They would report it in the media, cryptic phrase, the calm before the storm. It seemed related to Rocket Man, his term. Kim Jong-un. In terms of him having ICBM capability, nuclear capability, firing missiles over Japan, our ally, threatening Guam, and potentially maybe being able to reach the United States, continental United States, with a nuclear weapon. At some point, this is going to come to a head. What was the calm before the storm?
We can't let this to go on. We just can't. Now, you can say what you want. This should have been handled 25 years ago. It should have been handled 20 years ago and 10 years ago and 5 years ago. It should have been handled by numerous, not just Obama, but certainly President Obama should have taken care of it. Now it's at a point where it's very, very far advanced. Something has to be done. We can't allow this to happen. Now, China's been very helpful, I think, who knows? They seem to be very helpful. They cut off banking to North Korea. That's something they've never done before. They've cut down, way down on the fuel, and a lot of other things. We're going to see what happens. But we cannot allow this to happen. This should have been taken care of long ago. Clinton gave them billions of dollars, gave them lots of other things, and before the contract, the ink was dry on the contract, they were already starting again with the missiles and with the nuclear, frankly. So we are in a position, look, we're very strong. I'm building up the military like nobody's ever seen. We're close to $800 billion in spending. Sean, I don't know if you know, but the military, our military was totally, really depleted. You look around and you see what's going on. You take a look at what we're buying right now with the jet fighters and all of the equipment we're buying. And, it's two things, really. It is jobs, and that's far less important. But we build the greatest military equipment in the world. We have missiles that can knock out a missile in the air 97% of the time. And if you send two of them, it's going to get knocked out.
Is it fair to say if he keeps firing missiles, that's going to end?
Well, I don't want to say anything.
You don't want to
I'm just telling you, I don't want to talk about it because, all these people, they talk. I remember with Mosul, and I use this all the time with Mosul. We are going to be attacking Mosul in 4 months. We're attacking Mosul in 3 months. I say, why do they keep saying it? Attack, do it, or don't do it, or whatever. But they kept talking about it. And by the way, it turned out to be hell on wheels. It was hard because they were so totally prepared. And I'm not saying I'm doing anything, and I'm not saying I'm not. But we shouldn't be talking about it.
Calm before the storm, you're not going to talk about that either?
No, I don't talk about it. No.
Iran, it was interesting. Bill Clinton, when he made the deal with Kim Jong-un's father, Kim Jong-il, he actually said, this is a good deal for the American people. It was not. It seems the same mistake was made with President Obama and the Iranian deal. There's reports you will decertify this. You can also pull out of it. John Bolton suggesting you just pull out completely. Why decertify and not just scrap it?
Well, you can do both, to be honest with you. You can do both. You can decertify and then... I know exactly what I'm going to do, but I can't give it away tonight. But I'm going to be announcing it very shortly. But
why not, right?
But I will. I mean, there's no secret. I think it was one of the most incompetently drawn deals I've ever seen. $150 billion given. We got nothing. They got a path to nuclear weapons very quickly. And think of this one, $1.7 billion in cash. This is cash out of your pocket. You know how many airplane loads that must be? Did you ever see $1 million like a promotion where they have $1 million in $100 bills? It's a lot of. This is $1.7 billion. You'd almost say, who would be authorized to do it? And who are the people that deliver it? You may never see them again, right? But,
plane loads.
But just plane loads. So this is the worst deal. We got nothing. So I'm not giving anything away, but I've been saying this for a long time. You have people dancing and screaming in the streets of Iran. Now, I have to tell you, those people are possibly staged, because I happen to believe the people of Iran are great people and they want freedom and they want to be sort of friendly with us. I really believe that. But they're dancing in the streets and they're singing Death to America, and Kerry's out there negotiating a deal and giving up every single point. He'd go in, we'd like this, you're not having it, done, done, done. It's the worst deal I've ever seen. Whether it's countrywide or any other wide, there is no worse deal. So we will see what happens pretty soon. A lot of people are guessing, but maybe there's not so much guessing. But it was an incompetently drawn deal. Look, it's a very bad deal. I'm not saying anything different tonight that I have been saying for 2 years. Yeah. It's a horrible, horrible embarrassment to our country. And we did it out of weakness when actually we had great strength.
Let me ask you about immigration. You came up with a 70-point plan. There was fear after you had met with Pelosi and Schumer and you were talking about DACA. One of the things I've always noticed is we always get the tax increase, we never get the spending cuts. You always get the consideration on immigration, you never get the wall built. Part of it is there will be, you said, no deal on DACA unless, of course, we're going to end chain migration. You're going to build a wall that's going to be see-through now, so the...
Well, it may be. We're looking. Yeah. We right now have built 5 prototypes. They just are going up, and some of them are already finished. And I will say, they're really looking good. They're really looking good. And our country needs it. We need it not only for people, but we need it for the drugs that are pouring into our country. I mean, we have drugs that are pouring into our country, so we don't have a choice. And... You know, you can say what you want. Yeah. I was with Bibi Netanyahu of Israel, and he was saying, Donald, the wall works, believe me. They had an open border that was like a sieve. People just poured in. He said 99.9% of the people now, it's stopped. Nobody gets in. Nobody gets in. The wall has to be built. It has to be built. A properly built, constructed, designed wall, high, not a little fence like they'd have. They had walls that were so low trucks would drive over them. It was easier to drive over it than to take it down. Can you believe it? Okay.
So no amnesty.
No, the wall, no amnesty. No amnesty.
No chain migration.
Chain migration is one of the disasters. You allow one person in, and that one person brings in 10 or 12 people.
No DACA until you fund the wall.
DACA, look. We have 800,000 people. They're not necessarily young. You know, a lot of people think they're children. I guess they average from 16 to 39 or so. But a lot of these people are in the military. They have jobs. They have this, that. I fully understand it. But if we're going to do something, we have to get something in return. And what I want is tremendous border regulation. I want the wall, and we're going to get other things, and we're going to see if we can work something out. Now, whether or not we do, I don't know. But it would be wonderful to solve the DACA problem. And by the way, even my most conservative, hardline friends in the Republican Party would really like to be able to solve 800,000 people. And honestly, these people went through a lot because most of them went through our system. Many of them don't speak the language of their country because they've never been to their country. So we are going to try and solve that. But if we're going to solve that, we want a wall and we want great border security.